Amid massive protests in Tel Aviv calling for ceasefire with Hamas for safe return of Israeli hostages, US President Joe Biden on Monday said that Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has not done enough to secure the agreement.
What makes you think that this deal will be successful in a way that the other deals were not?
Hope springs eternal.
Mr. President, do you think it's time for Prime Minister Netanyahu to do more on this issue? Do you think he's doing enough?
No.
Israel has engulfed in unprecedented protest after the remains of 6 hostages were recovered from a tunnel in Gaza. This comes after Israel and Hamas failed to secure a ceasefire deal. Demonstrators have called upon the Israeli government to reach a ceasefire agreement with Hamas to free the remaining captives. Protesters have accused Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu of failing to save the hostages.
The Israeli government's decision to delay, to put more terms, unfortunately, that was the end for Carmel.
Israeli police detained several protesters as they tried to block a highway near Tel Aviv to call for a deal to release the hostages. The demonstration was organized in support of a strike called by Israel's largest labor union to pressure the government into reaching a Gaza deal to free the hostages. The Israeli economy has come to a standstill due to a one-day general strike called by a major trade union to put pressure on the government to reach a deal with Hamas. Tel Aviv's Ben Gurion airport also halted flights amid the strike. Meanwhile, an Israeli labor court on Monday ordered to end the strike called by the country's largest union to support a deal.
I call on the people of Israel to take to the street, leave the workplace. I call on all economic organizations in the state of Israel, everyone to join the strike.
Meanwhile, protests also took place at New York's Central Park to honor 6 Israeli hostages killed in Gaza and demand the return of those still captive. Participants held photos of the hostages and banners reading "Bring our children home." Several US Democratic lawmakers also renewed calls for an Israeli-Hamas ceasefire, while Republicans criticized the government for not giving stronger support to Israel. Democrats say a ceasefire deal must be reached immediately to allow all remaining hostages to be released, while Republicans have urged President Joe Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris to finish the job against Hamas. Israel's assault on Gaza began after Hamas and other militants killed about 1,200 people and took about 250 hostages in attacks on Israel on October 7 last year. Thousands of Palestinians have been killed in retaliatory strikes and special operation to secure hostages from Gaza. The crisis has created an unprecedented situation where Palestinians are forced to live in dire conditions with inadequate shelter and a hunger crisis. Sayyid Muhammad Absalul Hassan's report for DD India.